What's going on, everybody? Happy game day. The Oilers and the Minnesota Wild tonight. It is the Oil Stream. Dusty and Tommy Gazzola with you. Tom will have a pregame show tonight, pre and post watch party over at Hudson's tonight for the pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oil Stream today and every day, brought to you by Boston Pizza. They got $5 off medium pizzas during the game. Tankards off Coors Light and Canadian. So you can get your hands on that as well. And we're going to have 2 on locations in the month of March at lunchtime. Everybody loves a good lunchtime Oil Stream on location at Boston Pizza. Tommy Gazzola, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Hi, good afternoon, Dustin. I'm doing well. Just got back from the rink. We have a rink report that's up. I posted it really quickly with Joe Smith from The Athletic. He was great. And a little bit quiet around the rink today, but the biggest news I would say is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins took part in the optional morning skate and looks like he should be good to go tonight.
I was going to say nothing confirmed about good to go, but he's there. He looks good. Like he'll be good to go.
Probably playing. And even Chris Knobloch said that. So he just went out there for a twirl. He's ready. He was sick. He watched the game from home. He talked about how frustrating that was. We joked with him. Was he swearing at his teammates? He said, no, he doesn't swear at them. And then, so it was nice and pleasant around the rink today. And then the Wild sounded like they were optional. So I was like, deuces, time to get to the Oil Stream.
Deuces. That means peace out?
Deuces.
Yeah. Do you say that when you do it too, or do you just go like this?
I'm not cool enough to just go like this.
Okay, so you have to say deuces.
Yeah, but even that's pretty limited because...
I was going to say, I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I love saying deuces, you know?
I just used it in this circumstance, okay?
Oh, okay.
Get off of me. Get off of my
well,
case.
It's just like, are you walking around just telling everybody, yo, deuces, I'm out? Like, I don't know.
No.
It seems weird. It seems kind of weird. This text is in, it says, has YouTube Trev shaved yet? You guys should organize a charity stream where he shaves and Dusty has to eat a vegetable. That's in from, Ho Daddy, who texted today. Ho Daddy.
Daddy.
Trev is talking about shaving the stash a little bit.
It's all talk right now.
Yeah,
he's been kind of talking about it for like a month, and he doesn't do it. So he's like, oh, everybody's complaining about my mustache. I'm annoyed by it. I don't want it anymore. And then like a week later, he's got that mustache, and he's like, I trimmed it today.
I love his mustache. I think it looks sharp.
It is distinctive, yes. He's conflicted, obviously, and there's an internal battle that's raging on in his mind and between his mind and his heart. And I think his girlfriend does not appreciate the mustache, and he maintains.
There's some pressure there, maybe. Maybe there's some pressure there. What I did tell him and how we possibly convinced him was I said, you know what's coming up for the first time at Edmonton Sports Talk? Chin Strap Awareness Month, and the stigma, the month of Charch, is just around the corner. And I said to him, I said, why do you shave the stash and grow out the chinny for the month of March to help end the stigma? He's like, oh, I don't know. I said, I'm going to be doing it. Like, I'm going to have the chin strap at the beginning of the month, probably let it grow in a little bit, and then bam, at the end of the month, hit that chin strap again. So I'd like to see Trev get on board with Charch Awareness Month, like chin strap awareness month.
I respect Charch Awareness. I look forward to Charch. And I'm glad we're bringing it back. Don't let a good thing die, Dusty.
Yeah. Tommy, I'd love to see you with a chin strap, dude.
I wouldn't. It would be terrible.
I was going to say, how much money would we have to raise for charity to have you grow a chin strap for the month? You want to go down that line again? I mean,
No.
should we force you into that?
No, we're not forcing me into anything.
But that being said, if we raised $50,000, would you grow a chin strap for a month?
Yes, for $50,000. God, I did the perm for $12,500. So yes, if I have to charge it up for 50 G's, I'll do it for charity.
I don't even think we'd see it. I don't even think it would come in, right? Like it would.
I shaved it today.
You are clean shaven today. You're looking sharp, buddy.
Thank you.
You're looking real sharp. You're looking real sharp today.
I will not be wearing this at the watch party tonight. I'm going to go a little more casual.
You're going to go more casual. I like that. Good for you, Tommy.
Yeah,
I'm going to roll in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's going to be great.
Oh, you'll fit right in.
I am. We were joking about on the morning show today, but I am thinking of hitting a water massage before coming over to the coming over to the party. Just so I can be relaxed, right? Like have a water massage. I'll probably have a nap this afternoon. Get up, have a shower, slide on over, hit a water massage, get out of the water massage, look at the person, be like, deuces, I'm going to Hudson's. And then I'll walk down to Hudson's and join the crew, you know?
Like a boss, man. Like
a boss. Yeah, like a boss. Exactly. Duck Dad is in and says, the Muzz, my daughter, who's super cool, the Muzz can get away with saying deuces. Guys like me and Tommy and Dusty can't. That's probably true. Like Elizabeth's, she's just cool. She's naturally cool. So I guess she can probably get away with this. Traylin's in and says, Gazzola needs to give his compliments to Chantal. Did you recently? People are loving your hair today, Tommy. Did you recently visit Chantal or what?
Chantal and I were good. I thought she was going to murder me because I had to reschedule my last hair appointment 4 times. And then it was all good. She was happy to see me. She went on holidays, and I think she was rested and relaxed. And Chantal does a great job. I think I'm due for one in the next few days here, just to clean it up. And it's the combination of Chantal and Swedish hair cream gives you this. So big thank you. Otherwise, I'd be hooped.
Okay, so when you say Swedish hair cream, are you importing, exporting here, or are you just finding it locally?
Well, it's available locally, not in a lot of places.
I was going to say, please tell me you're importing it. Okay.
She has it at her salon, and it's really good. I've never come across anything like it before. It has a wonderful smell, and it is very good at handling hair like mine.
Todd Gack in the Nasty Chat says, YouTube Trev thought Dusty just went to Trunks in the middle of the mall. Yeah, did you hear that today? No. I said I might go for a water massage, and he's like, well, how does that work? Like, you have to just put on trunks? And then I said, no, dude, there's like a barrier between you and the water, man. Like, young YouTube Trev just didn't get it. He just didn't understand.
He's a sweet, naive young man that we get to bestow some wisdom and experiences on. And for that, we appreciate him. And Zach DeCub, too, to a certain extent. Zach DeCub's even younger than Trev.
Oh, yeah, like 5 years.
Yeah, I know. Zach DeCub's just a bebe. He's fresh, man.
A fresh bebe.
He's a fresh bebe.
Rip City Step is in and says, Tommy dress code leak early for tonight. Yeah, we got that out there. I was wondering what you're going to be wearing tonight. It's already it's going to be casual, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to go more casual. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. So I was at the rink. I did my business casual today.
Yeah, now it's time to gear down.
I opted away from, I didn't do the tie this morning. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow at the game, but...
Tube Socks text in 780-218-9999. People are in a fun mood today. It's a fun game day here against the Minnesota Wild. Tube Socks text in and says, Thomas Bartholomew Gazzola. I'm hoping that's the last time I hear you say deuces.
Well played, Steven.
I don't know if I've heard you drop a deuces on us on the oil stream before. So I
don't think I'm ever going to again. So that's the end of it.
This comment is in. I don't know if you've heard us talking about on the show, but Calvin C in the Nasty Chat says, Tommy, if I put on heels and wave the deuces, can I get a $20 GC tonight? So did you hear this story?
Yes.
Did you hear
what happened?
Well, yesterday on the show, we were doing I Got Beef.
Yeah.
Somebody texted in and was like, hey, guys, I got beef with the way Tommy hands out GCs because he gave me a $10 one and he gave my lady friend a $20 one. So we were all like, oh, my God, is Tommy using these as currency and like giving dudes $10 gift certificates and all the ladies get 20s or 50s? What the hell?
I don't, man, they give them to me. Steve over at Hudson's on Bourbon Street, and then Connor at Hudson's on White Ave, and they're like, just give them out how you want. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know if I could. I didn't know if it was their significant other or not. And then the second thing is like, I don't know if I'm giving a 10 or a 20. I just have some there, and then I had free wing ones too.
Okay.
Which Steve gave me. I think I should have some more tonight. I have a bunch. So. I don't know how to differentiate. It's like, here, have buy a beer, like get something. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And yes, if you put on heels and wave at me the deuces, you get a 20 instead of a 10. Deal?
I'm going to fully dress as a woman tonight and come in and see what you give me. You're like, Dusty, is that you? No, it's not me.
Well, you get a 50.
And I got a 50. See, this is what I'm talking about. McJesus in the Nasty Chat says, caught red-handed. Oh, it's too funny, man. I love it. I think it's absolutely hilarious. That's good. Kenny Banya. By the way, great handle on YouTube.
Todd Gack, Kenny Banya.
Yeah, there's so many good ones. Guys, I'm still offended that YouTube Trev says all donairs taste the same. That was one of his hot takes yesterday. And then I said, well, how many have you had? He goes, 4. I said, well, you got to expand a little bit. Because to me, I mean, every single donair I've ever had has from different places has always been a little bit different, right?
It is. It depends how they make the sauce. What do they put in their sweet sauce? What do they generally do with their beef? Do they flavor and season their beef differently? Or whatever. You get chicken, you could, there's all kinds of meats that you can get in there. Like what type of cheese do they use? Where in the process does the cheese get put in? So Trev, a veteran of all of 4 donairs, all of them, I believe, from Just Donair right down the street from the Global.
He's getting from the same place all the time.
Yeah.
And they're different.
And they're really good donairs. I think it's a mom and pop shop. The guy and the girl that work there own it, and they're super nice. But he's not had a Swiss donair yet. Trev has. Trev has not experienced Basha donair. He's not had a Marco's Famous donair.
I don't think he's had a Fire Zone, which is my go-to.
Fire Zone, High Voltage, Prime Time. There's so many options out there that his palette for donairs is not I would have knocked and deduct points from him if I was in Gager's position as the judge, if he made that comment while I was judging and presiding over hot takes.
This one is in. I'm gonna do this right now.
What's going on right now?
All right, so Tommy, if you saw me walk in right now to Hudson's, all right, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna give that guy a $10 gift certificate, but then you saw me like this, how much dollars would you give me? $20, $50,
$50. Yeah, right? Yeah.
You tell me I can't pull this off?
Yeah. Oh, stop it.
$50 GC. $50 GC.
With my number on the back of one of them.
By the way, if you missed Tales of the North today, you can find it. It's up on the Nielsen Show feed on YouTube. All right, so Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said, sorry, Tommy. Oil Stream presented to you by Boston Pizza. If you're looking for a place to watch the game tonight, all the Boston Pizza lounges all across the city, they'll be absolutely hopping as people get ready for a Friday night game here. Get yourself one of the fish bowls, man. I had one of those a few weeks ago out of town. They were absolutely delicious. It was good. So if Nuge is back in, how do you see the lineup sort of sorting itself out, do you think here, Tommy?
I would assume, and Knobloch talked about this a little bit, although he was a little bit nondescript. He went as far as saying that Dylan Holloway is going to be starting at left wing and then playing center at some point. So it was kind of like a little bit of smoke and mirrors, not anything like Jay Woodcroft used to do, but I would assume Sam Gagner might come
out. Mark down to the 4th line.
Yeah.
Fogle back in there.
Yeah.
And then Gagner down and out.
Yes, if I'm remembering what Knobloch told us correctly, I think that's what's going to happen, and
that would make the most sense.
Yeah, listen. Connor Brown took the morning skate. I don't believe Sam Gagner did, from what I recall, because we were right there on the wall, doing the interviews, and I saw Connor Brown go out there, but I didn't see Gagner go out there. That might be indicative of who's playing and who's not. If Sam didn't take the morning skate, I would think he's playing. Connor Brown did go out there, but I mean, it's not like Sam's been great, although he's played limited minutes in the few games that he has been in there. I think they might get Connor Brown in there, but if they don't, that's fine. I prefer at this point Sam Gagner in over Connor Brown, just due to the spark that sometimes Gagner provides.
Yeah, I think that's probably how most people would view it. If you're listening right now, would you rather have Sam Gagner in the lineup or Connor Brown in the lineup? Text us at 780-218-9999 or hop into the nasty chat today as well. Calvin C says EST needs a Donair sponsorship already. Well, we have contemplated doing the Donair layer where we would go around once every 2 weeks and kind of hit up a different Donair place in the city. I think if one Donair place was going to kind of become RO, that's a massive sponsorship deal, because there would be a lot of Donair places that would want that. That's a bidding war basically to become the exclusive Donair place for Edmonton Sports Talk. That's not just a small deal. That's a big one.
Now, I can't remember who won the Donair auction. Remember the Donair mascot suit?
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
15
bidding for
grand.
that. Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
I think it is a local donaire shop that was in the running for it, if I'm not mistaken. If they've got 15 G's to drop on a mascot that the government of Alberta created, they've got money to do the donaire
They
layer
got
with
they got money
ESD.
to. Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Better investment, in my opinion.
100%. Kenny Banya says, "Would you rather have a kick in the groin or Gagne in the lineup?" Basically, Connor Brown. I think he's going to score at some point, but
Maybe.
I'm not overly
Keep
sure.
trying.
I'm not overly sure.
Yeah.
Nielson and Gazzola with you here on the O Stream, brought to you by Boston Pizza. Okay, so Pickard's going to go tonight. Where do you come out on the suggestion of, and the boys yesterday on Two Guys, Cass and Gage were split on this. If Pickard plays lights out tonight and they win, would you have any time for the discussion of going back to him against Calgary? Give Skinner a couple days off.
I wouldn't.
No.
I
don't think they would either. Gager was making a case for it, though.
I understand. And Gager's smart and he knows goalies very well, obviously. But I think they're going to stick. They have a plan. They're going to stick to that plan. Good for Pickard, playing well. Had a really, really solid game against Dallas and helped the team win that game. And there should be nothing but confidence in him. And, that's something that Christoph Bloch talked about again today. He likes what Pickard's brought to the table, as one should, as most of the fan base has finally, come to grips with, is this guy is being reliable for you this year, more so than Jack Campbell. Absolutely. Better than taking a risk on Olivier Rodriguez. So he's kind of solidified himself as the backup this year, Calvin Pickard has. And, he earned starts like this. And when they do have back-to-backs, he knows his place. He's the second stringer. He's going to just take his starts when they come. He's happy to be back in the NHL. He's not rattled by much. He's been around long enough. He's played for numerous different organizations. And when he gets in there, he goes in and does his thing. Most nights they win. Most nights he gives them an opportunity to win. And that's probably what he wants to continue with tonight. And then Stu Skinner's still your guy. Listen, has he been lights out? No. Has the PK been awful in front of him? Yes. Has some of the goals he allowed contributed to that? Yeah, a little bit. But Stu Skinner is still their guy. And he's going to look to have a bounce-back performance tomorrow night against Calgary. And he's generally pretty good against the Flames. So this situation this weekend, I don't think it needs to be something that we overthink. Pickard tonight probably gives them a good chance to win against a Wild team that's been playing much better lately. And then you go into the big game with Stu Skinner, who will want to, eliminate some of the goals that he's allowed and keep it below 2, ideally. And maybe he keeps it below 3. And I think that still gives the Oilers a good chance to win against a Flames team that they'll face tomorrow.
We threw this around as far as the goaltenders go on the Nielsen show earlier today. Some of the results were interesting. But, since the All-Star break, the team is not as dominant as they were pre-All-Star break. Skinner hasn't played as well as he was pre-All-Star break. And I guess, in order to get a good read on this, you'd have to go, I guess it would be your confidence level in Skinner to be the goaltender that doesn't have to carry you to a Stanley Cup, but can be good enough to help you win a Stanley Cup. What would your level of concern be about the recent play of Stuart Skinner and his presence in the net on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like full-blown panic, oh, they can't start the playoffs with this guy, and 1 being like, he's completely fine, there's nothing to worry about? I put my number at like a 3 earlier today. He's been better. He does look a little bit off lately. So, yeah, on a level of 1 to 10 scale of concern, you're looking at like a 3 for me. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit us up in the nasty chat. If you're listening on TuneIn or at iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, 780-218-9999. Tommy, where would you be at right now?
3.5?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not too much, right? It's not like they're losing games and he's been standing on his head doing everything he can to help them. But
he's been okay.
He's been okay, right? He's been okay out of the break. Yeah. That's it though.
Yeah. But the defense and the way they've played in front of him hasn't been particularly good either. And I know they generally win their games 5-on-5 now, but him being okay, call it a bit of a I don't know, lull. I don't even know if it's a lull. It's just he's been okay, and they haven't been great in front of him, and it's led to a few losses here and there, and they haven't been as efficient as picking up points. The level of competition has been tougher too. Plus, the schedule has been tougher and will continue to be. They've got a compact schedule in the next 2 months.
Yeah, the rest of the way.
It's going to get tougher for everybody, and they better adjust quickly and figure it out, him included. Simple as that.
Tommy, I have not talked with you since the post game on Wednesday against the Bruins. Two topics that kind of came out of there that we can get into today on the oil stream. One was the play of Evander Kane in that game in overtime on the final play during the final shift. What was the reaction like Wednesday night after the game, and what'd you think about the way he did play in that last game?
He's been okay. Like that's he comes and goes in spurts, and some of the decision making not particularly great. That shift was a cluster. I also talked about it on the post game show too. Is I know Ryan McLeod was trying to spring him. And I don't think Kane was paying attention or looked the wrong way. And then why didn't he chase it down? I agree with that. I understand that they're tired. If you're going to make the case for Kane, you'd be like, well, he's really tired. Yep, I get that. Why did McLeod make that bank pass? I don't know. I would have preferred if he took it back, regrouped, maintained possession, and they take it up the ice and get the change. That would have been the seasoned veteran move. And instead, you get a young guy that's trying to spring an opportunity that he saw briefly, and it just wasn't there. I think Kane probably wants to be better overall, Dusty, and he's had some good moments in the last couple of weeks. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that night, and then the sprawling out when they were tired and gassed and lost possession too, wasn't particularly great. Skinner went flailing, and who was it? Nurse went down as well. So just a bad shift, bad decision-making.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We got some interesting stuff prior to the deadline kind of rolling along here as well. This was just kind of brought to my attention over on Twitter. Gregor's suggesting that it'll be Fogle, McDavid, and Hyman tonight, Nuge with Draisaitl and Kane, Janmark with McLeod and Perry, and then Holloway with Ryan and Brown.
There you go.
So that's, I mean, if that does end up being the case, Fogle stays there just because he played really well last game. Is that kind of it? Like he gets to kind of run in the top six again for a little bit, sort of, because he had a nice game.
Yep. And he did have a strong game, so we're kind of getting rewarded. And you know what? We've seen Chris Knobloch do this. He'll give guys who we finish the game with, he'll give them that opportunity to try to build or continue that momentum from the game before. If it doesn't work out, then he can flip things around. But good for Fogle. There's a bright spot. He continues to have a strong year and had a really good game the other night, helped spark the comeback. And so that if Gregor's right, then okay. And then we'll see how long it lasts. Because just to reiterate, Knobloch did say we're going to see Holloway start on the wing and then play center in the game. And that was interesting that he made that note to us and when he was having his pregame availability. So we'll see if there's any shuffling and juggling that goes on mid-game with the top two lines as well.
Yeah, because what could happen is if they start this way with Holloway on the fourth line with Ryan and Brown and Nuge is with Draisaitl and Kane, if they need to switch it up, Janmark slides down, Fogle slides down, McLeod slides back with the top six on the wing, and Holloway goes to center a Fogle, Perry, Holloway line, right? So we'll see how that sort of sorts itself out. The one thing that is interesting, and whether the line's together or not, Draisaitl between Kane and Nuge. What do we don't see Nuge, Draisaitl, and Kane together like ever. I don't know if we've really seen that combination too often.
Maybe. I'll say the same thing that I say every time when Kane's on Draisaitl's line. They should be able to create offense. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to tilt the ice and create offense. You have three veteran players, one superstar and two stars. That should be a good line in theory. How they mesh together, whether or not they're on the same page, time will tell. But in theory, that should be a good line. I know it's 3 left shots. I know one guy's playing his off wing. If that is the case, it doesn't matter. They've been in the league long enough. They've done enough in their careers that they should be able to figure it out. No more, I don't like playing my off wing. None of that. No excuses like that. Just go out there and be a good line. You 3 really good players. Go do it, man.
The Digital Warrior over on YouTube says Kane and Draisaitl just don't have the chemistry. And that's one of the questions that was asked of us today on 3 Questions Too Many was, where does Evander Kane best fit in this lineup? And I think he looks his best when he's with Connor McDavid, right? But the Nuge, McDavid, Hyman line has been so good for the majority of the season when they've been together. It's tough to kind of break that up just to get Kane going when he's on pace for like almost 30 goals anyway. So
I know it's interesting because almost every line that Kane's on, the comment comes in, or we even discuss it or bring it up. It's like, oh, he doesn't really have chemistry with that centerman or that winger. Who's he had chemistry with, really? Like McLeod, right? When they had Draisaitl with him, that was a good line. I don't know. Kane's a straight ahead player. I mean, you kind of have to adapt to him, and maybe he's too rigid to adapt to his centerman, but I think that they are more than capable of figuring it out. Like, you've played with Draisaitl enough. Read off each other, use each other's tendencies.
2 very good hockey players. Like it should click. It should work, right?
Yes.
Leon Draisaitl's outside the top 20 right now in 5-on-5 scoring this year in the National Hockey League. Like I want to look into it and see how much of that has come with when he's with McDavid, but he's been away from McDavid obviously more than we've seen in the past a little bit here. So we'll see if there's some 5-on-5 production coming from.
I'll bring up this.
Yeah.
I'll bring up this. Do you notice Leon this year, when he's centering his own line without McDavid, do you feel he tries to do a bit too much? Like he wants to do it all instead of leaning on the other guys around him?
Who brought this up? Mike Johnson yesterday, I think, said basically that exact same thing, Tommy. I think he basically said that exact same thing, which we agreed with. I think it's like, just use Kane. Just use the guys as opposed to trying to do a little bit too much, right?
Yeah. Because he's button hooking with the puck. He's taking it into the zone. He's, hanging on that extra second, even though, generally he makes the right play. But it feels like Draisaitl is trying to take a page out of McDavid's book when really that's not entirely his game. Is he capable of doing some things, Connor Kent? Yeah. But he's a big guy. He works hard down low. He scores greasy goals as well as scores from distance. He's a guy, Dusty, that has a winger in Evander Kane that can also score from distance. Use him. And then whoever the rotating guy is on the other wing, like it has been lately, tell that guy to keep it simple and go to the net.
We'll get to some of your messages on this. Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by One Putt Virtual Golf, one of the best and most accurate indoor golf places in the city for both casual and serious golfers. They've got 6 TrackMan bays, which makes it the perfect place to hang out and golf with your friends. We'll catch the Oilers game and crushing the EST 6 o'clocker loggers. The Spring League signup is open now. The league starts on February 26th, so let's move quick on this one. It goes for 8 weeks, guaranteeing that you'll be able to finish your spring league before the outdoor golf season starts. You can sign up. It's $360 to sign up, but you get 8 hours of golf, and that covers your league fees. So it's a great deal. Winner of the season will win a brand new driver valued at over $800 along with some other weekly prizes along the way. To learn more, check them out, www.oneputt.ca/spring league, or follow their Instagram at oneputtYEG. Let's see here. McJesus says, give me a Kane, McDavid, McLeod, Nuge, Draisaitl, Hyman, top 6. Pender's Pancake says, I like 91, 97, and 18. Leon needs to find a solid pair guy. 97 and 18 are a pair. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Fun little discussion here then. Like McDavid, Hyman, great together.
Yep.
They've been trying to make Kane and Draisaitl the other pair. Kane and Nuge and Draisaitl the other pair. Like, what would be the best pair with Leon Draisaitl, do you think?
Nuge and Draisaitl has worked in the past.
Yeah.
They made it work with Yamamoto.
That would have the best track record, I would think, right?
Right. They've played together here and there since, obviously on the power play together. I don't want to go so far to say that using Evander Kane with Leon Draisaitl is trying to blast a square peg into a round hole. Like, you look at them, you're like, hey, you pass good, Leon. You can also shoot. You're big, hard to handle down low. Okay, you have Evander Kane, who's big, plays with grit, can score from distance, scores greasy goals too. Like, in theory, that should work, right? Why hasn't it? And that's why I asked, does it seem like Leon's trying to do too much instead of just using Evander Kane and playing to Kane's strengths, and then whoever's on the right wing?
I think Leon needs more of a burner than Evander Kane, right? Like, and Nuge doesn't technically fit that bill either.
Yeah, he's not really which is why
I think Fogle and McLeod and Draisaitl kind of looked fine together when they were together for that small amount of time. So I was just writing down some stuff. If they were, let's say you leave the McDavid Nuge Hyman line together, and then you put that McLeod Fogle Draisaitl line back together, and then you throw Holloway in between Kane and Perry with two veterans on his wing. That'd be an interesting look in the top 9. That'd be interesting to me.
Yeah. I almost wanted to suggest like maybe getting Perry on to the right side in the top 6 a little bit more. I've liked his game. I think he's been very good. I know ideally people want to see him on the third line. That's great depth. But if he's giving you some jam, I think a few points here and there.
Perry, Nuge, and Hyman would be fine. And then you could, or Perry, Nuge, and McDavid. And then you slide Hyman down to play with Kane and Draisaitl. Right? Because when we saw Perry up there, he was with McDavid and Draisaitl, right? So, well, he was also with Kane and Draisaitl for a time. So,
man, the blender's been brought out a few times here, so it's a mishmash.
Joel just messaged exactly what I just said. I must have read the mind. That's what we do. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can slide on in over on the text line as well. This text is in. It says, Skinner needs a water massage. I like that. Yeah, maybe we'll go for a water massage. Why not? I think he'd like that. The loser texts in. Gotta love it. The loser says, Perry and Draisaitl together. Greasy.
Very greasy.
Yeah, I think that would be good. We'll get to some of your trade suggestions and comments on that. So feel free to hammer those bad boys in as well in the Nasty Chatter at 780-218-9999. Like we said, portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by One Putt. If you've not yet checked out their Spring League, you can do it right now on their website. Just hop online, www.oneputt.ca/Spring League. Of course, portions of the Oil Stream also brought to you by CoolBet. And CoolBet, I got that EST parlay up right now. Let's revisit that one more time. If you want to play it, go to coolbet.com. If you've not yet signed up for an account, sign up for an account. Use the code LOCKSHOP, all one word, when you do, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $100. The Edmonton Sports Talk parlay available over at CoolBet right now. Connor McDavid, 2 points. Draisaitl goal tonight. He's got 4 in his last 6 against the Minnesota Wild. So McDavid, 2 points. Draisaitl a goal. Evan Bouchard with a point as well. And the Edmonton Oilers to win the game tonight. That's plus 420. If you want to ride with the EST parlay and all of the lock shoppers, you can do that over at a CoolBet right now. Tommy, NHL Network. Did you see that trade that was suggested on NHL Network? They were throwing around with Friedman a little bit.
I noticed they've been doing that lately. What was the latest one?
All right, so this is the latest one right here. It was Warren Fogle, Bo Akey, a first and a third for Jake Gensel, with 50% retained on Gensel. So Fogle, Akey, a first and a third for Gensel. At this point, obviously, just a rental. Give me your first thoughts on this, and then we can kind of dive into it a little bit.
Pricey. That's a lot. I mean, Fogle, fleeting asset. Not fleeting asset, but expiring contract, okay. Akey, I think that the Oilers probably want to develop and bring him along as opposed to trade him, but you do get Gensel. I don't know how Edmonton makes Gensel. I suppose you get Pittsburgh to retain, but like I always look at the Penguins and I go, well, what are you? What do you want to be? What is Kyle Bartholomew Dubas trying to do here?
You're such a goof. I love it.
What is he doing? Like, I wonder, and I go, Gensel's not young in NHL standards anymore. What is he, 29? And then the Oilers have a lot of left shot guys already.
And he's not going to play on your top unit power play. And I feel like you're
No.
paying a price of somebody. Like somebody else will pay that price because he can come in, play on their top unit power play, the type of thing. He's not all of a sudden going to weasel his way into a 5-man unit that clicks the way that unit does, right? So you basically bring him in to play second line, right, for the rest of the season. So I thought a little pricey. Does somebody pay that? Maybe, especially because there's so many teams this year, because there's no one true juggernaut. There's so many teams that probably feel like they're in the mix here, Tommy. It's a pretty good year to be a seller, I would think. But I also sit here on Edmonton Sports Talk in the mornings and on Oil Stream and Two Guys and say that you got to be all in at this point. And nobody should really be untouchable as far as futures go. So I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite saying, you wouldn't do that. I admit that it's pricey, but I think you're going to have to pay pricey along the way if you want to bring in these pieces. Like you have to remember, you're having them retain 50% of the contract. How much is that? How much is that alone? That worth alone? So
that helps a lot.
If they were to give up that for Guentzel, I would be like, it's a lot. But if you feel like that's the need, if you have to go get that top six forward, sure. That's fine. You're taking a run at it. Give them all the credit. The one aspect of it that I don't really like, and in order to make it work, you have to get the retention and likely move Fogle back. Now, we'll see exactly where they are come deadline. You could work in another team and everything. But to me, if you're going to go out and bring in a rental, you got to keep Fogle because then that bumps somebody down and you're actually improving your bottom six by taking whoever's moonlighting in the top six and having them slide down the lineup, and then you're not getting to the playoffs and rolling out Connor Brown and Derek Ryan and Matthias Janmark as a fourth line that you don't want to play 5-on-5. So, I don't know how you make it work. I think there could be there would be a way I think you could make it work without Fogle being involved. Coming up to the deadline, they'll have some room. Maybe Janmark goes back the other way. But I just don't necessarily like moving a guy who's a good third liner for you at worst with all those other pieces to just get a second line guy,
My question that comes up, or everything that, when I think about breaking down a Guentzel trade and why it makes sense for Edmonton is I go back to, is he the right piece for the top six? He's an excellent player. He's done great things playing with Sidney Crosby. Obviously has a high offensive pedigree, but for this Oilers lineup, do they need a smaller left shot winger? Or are they going to focus on a bigger, tougher, stronger bodied right shot guy where they have a need right now in the top six? So the idea of Guentzel, I think, is great. Just adds to the plethora of offensive weapons that this team has. But is he the right guy, the right type of player for the Oilers in this current situation where they have left wingers, an abundance of them, left shot guys, an abundance of them? They need a right shot guy.
Preferably one who can play center a bit too. If you need to, right? Like that would be a real nice fit.
And when I hear Guentzel and the Oilers, and then people generally follow up with, what about Jordan Eberle and the Oilers? And listen, Jordan Eberle, I've got a lot of time for. Still think he's an excellent hockey player at the NHL level. He hasn't had a great season. But even he, I think, would have a leg up on Guentzel in terms of being more of what the Oilers need, offensive guy who plays right wing and is a right shot with a ton of experience. Like him and Guentzel in terms of like level of physicality, probably about equal, Dusty. They're roughly the same size. But even still, when I hear Eberle's name and the Oilers, I go, love it, but I don't know if that's the right type of guy that they need right now to bolster this top six.
What about Tarasenko? I think he'd come cheaper.
Yeah. Well, that might factor in. Again, that would be adding another left shot. A guy who can would pop off.
He does play right wing though.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit different.
Yeah.
Comes with playoff experience. Not that Gensel doesn't, but I mean that checks off another box there.
But Tarasenko, when he wants to play, Dusty, like look out.
Yeah.
Right? When he's engaged, when he's motivated, he's a beast.
Somebody texted in and asked a little bit earlier on. I'll come back around to it here. Somebody else in the inbox is talking about trading Campbell to Philly. I love it. We'll get into that. Dudley says a hard no to Eberle. I also kind of think that Eberle, nothing against Jordan Eberle. Yeah, I'd love to see him back in an Oilers jersey, but I just don't know if he's the right guy for what they need right now, especially if you have to pay a price around deadline that obviously gets cranked up a little bit. But somebody asked, would you rather, for the assets you have to trade, let's say here's what's been allocated for you to trade prior to the deadline. Would you want to push them all in for a top six forward, or would you rather spread them out and get maybe like a high-end fourth line forward that could play third line for you and then like another fourth line upgrade? Would you take two bottom six forwards or one top six forward, I guess is what people are asking.
Oh, in that circumstance, one top six.
You forward. Take one top six?
Yeah. And then you slot the guys in below and kind of the little cascade effect. I thought you were going to say, could you get a defenseman and a forward in the top 9? That's what I would prefer to see. This, like, to round out the entire roster. They have 6 D-men. I say it every time. They have 6 D-men on the roster. And Philip Broberg, I don't think is the answer.
Okay, let's talk about this then when it comes to the blue line, because this was also discussed earlier on the station today. How confident are you? This was Trev, actually. What were we talking about? Anyway, it came up. How confident are you? And Desharnais has obviously taken steps. And we talked about Desharnais on the oil stream before he made it. And it was a guy that they really liked, and they figured he was going to factor in here maybe before people thought he was going to factor in here. He's been a very pleasant surprise. But what's your level of confidence like in Desharnais in a playoff series as opposed to like a veteran defenseman that you could bring in? Desharnais becomes your number 7. You still feel good about it when you have to throw him into a game and go in and penalty kill for you and probably give you like 13 minutes in the playoffs. But would that be an area that you feel like you have to upgrade, or are you just bringing somebody in to be the 7 just in case something happens to the top 6? I mean, there's a lot of people just saying, screw it all, upgrade Ceci. So, I mean, if you manage to somehow upgrade the blue line and keep everybody, Desharnais goes out, Ceci goes down to play with Kulak, and you go from there.
Sure. Realistically, like if they can upgrade and get a guy that would be better than Desharnais and he gets bumped down to the 7th D-man slot, that's fine. But I also think, too, more realistic scenario is maybe they can scour the market and find a veteran guy that can be spliced in there here and there. But I think too, and I say that because with Desharnais, Dusty, we've seen the growth, we've seen the improvement. That's what happens when you give a guy an opportunity, you give him some leash, you instill some confidence in him by showing him that trust. And I don't think they want to snatch that away from Vinny Desharnais right away because they just went out and got another guy. Now, if it's a no-brainer, bolster the back end, they have to do it, then I think Desharnais understands that. If it's a veteran guy that's kind of in and out of the lineup and they think Desharnais gives them a better look on the back end, provides more on the PK than whoever they hypothetically could bring in, then I think the plan is to keep going with Desharnais. And then when he falters, then you could slide the other guy in there.
Portions of the Oil Stream and our studios here at Edmonton Sports Talk brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. I just taken a quick peek here in my emails, and the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins Cup is still available. The Oilers deal is only available for 2 more days. This promo ends February 25th. So maybe you got the Hyman Cup. Maybe you got the Nurse Cup. Maybe you got the Ekholm Cup. But maybe you don't have the Nugent-Hopkins Cup. You've got to go and get all four. The Oilers meal ends on the 25th. So on Sunday, this bad boy is over. It's one classic chicken sandwich, mild or spicy, your choice. 6-piece nugs, regular Cajun fries, medium pop, dipping sauce, and the Oilers Collector's Cup. Nuge is available right now. And if you were to go buy one, he'll be 100% healthy for the game tonight because he'll be so excited. $16.99 in store right now, only at Popeyes. I do like the idea of Nuge last game freaking on the couch like everybody at home. Right? I think that's so they should have put a cam on Nuge. Should have live streamed it on the Oilers Instagram or TikTok account or something. Live stream.
Oilers Plus.
Yeah, Oilers Plus. Well, yeah, of course, that's where they would do it. Oilers Plus live streamed. You know what? If Oilers Plus would have said, "Hey, we're live streaming Nuge watching from his couch tonight," they would have had 500 signups right there on the spot. Yep. Let's go watch Ryan Nugent-Hopkins watch the game tonight, which I think would be a lot of fun.
He's a good man. I have a little tidbit.
Ooh, give it to us.
It's not Oilers related necessarily, but
what is this?
I've got a little birdie in my ear saying that there should be an announcement coming in regard to some funding. And the funding will also include the 2027 World Junior Championship here in Edmonton.
World Juniors 2020. That makes sense.
So,
timeline-wise, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So if you didn't get burnt out from the 3 World Juniors that were held here during COVID times, it's coming back in a few
4 years. 2027 is 4 years away.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good enough hype by then. Yeah. I think that's something that you could look at, some funding for the World Juniors.
Yeah, the Holinka obviously coming back here, and then there's supposed to be a press conference coming up, and I was told sounds like World Juniors are part of it, and probably 2027.
What about the elusive All-Star game and or draft?
All-Star game is still on the docket. Like, they're gonna get one in the next 5 years here. So
the problem is that there's not going to be a ton of All-Star games in the next 5 years.
Well, they're doing one heading into the Olympics. They announced
the Islanders one, but when's that? 2027?
2026.
2026.
Yeah. So Edmonton's going to get one. They've kind of been like, handshake agreement, whatever. Like there's one coming. And I know too that, with, phase 1 of Ice District pretty much done. The focus is shifting to phase 2, which is the north side of the building. I think that's 105th Ave North.
From the development side of things?
Yeah, so they're going to start working on that. And then I also have been told that the that party park or whatever,
on the right there, like
plaza, that whatever they call it, they're looking at doing more with that and add some more infrastructure to it. So that north and northeast portion of the plot of land around Rogers Place looks like it's going to be in development here. That's the plan, at least from what I was told.
I said 4 years. It's 3 years. I'm getting corrected. I looked down on my computer dates and I saw the 23 at the end, but that's today's date. That's why I did the math on the 4. It is, in fact, 2024, which is crazy to me.
I know.
2024.
Me too.
Come on, man.
Come on now.
I remember slow dancing with a girl on Y2K night. Remember, that was quite the scene. Y2K. Did you actually think everything was going to shut down, Tommy? Do you think the world was going to collapse?
No. But I was a naive 15-year-old that had no sense of the world. I just was like, let's see what happens. Our computers are really that flawed. Okay.
Yeah. Imagine if computers were really that flawed. Like whoever designed them was like, crap. Didn't think about what happens next century. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Johnny Alberta's in it says, I would much rather an NHL draft than an All-Star game in Edmonton. Stuff that actually matters happens at a draft. This is always an interesting one because for kids and for parents with kids to see their hockey heroes roll into town would be for me, I'm a huge draft nerd. Covered a 10 or a dozen of them or whatever. Been to a lot of drafts. being right there next to the draft floor was like my dream as a child, and it's awesome. It's great. But now I look at it and go, for the entire NHL stars to roll in here, what we've seen from the skills contest and stuff, for Marshall and the Muzz, man, that would be the way to go. They would absolutely love that. So I'm a little torn on it now. I selfishly would like the draft just because I'd want to go to the draft. That'd be great. But
right. Hey, one thing, like I understand where Johnny Alberta's coming from, and I think that there's probably a lot of people who feel the same way. You discussing it as well. We have to keep in mind that the NHL is looking at changing the draft format too, and not having everybody
that's a good
there.
Point. Like the whole draft floor is not going to be the thing anymore.
Right. Like it sounds like that they're looking at doing is kind of like what the NFL does. You set up a big stage somewhere, you have fan parties. Yes, some, Hall of Famers and legends of the game come into town, but it's mostly the prospects. And then the teams do everything out of their war rooms, and then they video conference in the way that the NFL does. Like that sounds like it's headed in that direction.
So lame. And the draft was fine the way it was.
I know. And this year it's supposed to be at the Sphere, I believe.
It is at the
Sphere,
like yes.
One last hurrah, basically.
That'll be pretty cool. Having been at the Sphere now, I can imagine how it's going to look. And that'll be pretty sweet. Yeah. It'll be awesome to see them make use of the screen and stuff. It should be pretty fun. The doc is in and says, guys, confession. I switched the fuse box off at the house when we were partying on Y2K when the clock struck midnight. Funniest thing I've ever done. I'll never forget the screams and panic upstairs. Oh my God. That's an all-timer. I absolutely love that.
That's brilliant.
That is too good.
Well played. A polite golf clap.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, tonight, Edmonton Sports Talk pre and post game show will be at Hudson's. If you want to swing by and join us, EST watch party tonight at Hudson's for the Oilers and the Minnesota Wild. Tommy's going to have fat stacks of GCs to dish out if you want to swing on by and join us this evening at Bourbon Street, Hudson's at West Edmonton Mall. Oil Stream, as always, presented to you by Boston Pizza. Got to get your hands on the square footer, man. Every time it comes on TV, every single time I see a commercial for it, I'm like, my God, what have they done? It's amazing. Get your hands on the square footer at Boston Pizza. You cannot go wrong with that one. And like I said, 2 times in March, we'll be doing the Oil Stream at lunch on location at Boston Pizza, so you can make time to swing on by one of the locations. We'll give you the details on all of that as we work our way into the month of March. Looking forward to that one as well. Before we go, we quickly got to hit on this just very quickly. I don't know if this is a real thing or not.
Go on.
KFC is launching. I feel like I'm getting April Fooled here, but KFC is launching a new chicken pizza hybrid called the Cheesa. And it's like pepperoni and cheese and sauce on a piece of chicken, which, Popeyes, let's not stoop that low. Stoop that low.
Stay classy.
You don't need to put pepperoni and cheese on your chicken. Get it just like it is at Popeyes. Spicy or regular chicken sandwich. Delicious. Tommy, I will see you later on today, buddy. What should I wear if we're running dress codes and stuff? What do you...
Well, I thought you were wearing a form-fitting dress with heels and a wig.
That is correct, actually.
So you could get that extra $50 GC from me, which I appreciate. The effort goes a long way, and I certainly can, appreciate that. I don't know. It's going to be fun, man. It was a really good crowd on Wednesday, and hopefully we can replicate that. And I've got lots of those GCs to give away. All of us are going to be there. Come on down to Hudson's on Bourbon Street. 5:30 we get going. Just let's bring the good vibes. Hey, they have 6 o'clocker lager available as well in cans.
Probably gonna have a couple of those tonight. I think that's probably the decision, especially because we'll be all coming in relaxed after the water massage. Should be great. We've got a Nielsen Show replay coming up on TuneIn and iHeart and at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And Tommy will be back 5:30 today with the pregame show on YouTube and at all of our platforms online as well. Tommy, we'll see you later today, buddy.
All right, pal. Good show. See you later.
See you later, man.